How's it going, my trim people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back with a trade announcement for your Forest Green Snovers in the UBL season. Let's go season 6. You should have everything on screen for you. I was just double checking the recording. So, we're making some trades. Obviously, I did this team with a theme that it was going to be Gen 4 UU or above, or technically NUBL or above. And I want to carry on that theme. So, the trades that I've made, they're still all DPP, UU or above. Technically, although Eric pointed out when I looked at Salamence for one of the trades that Salamence was Ubers in DPP and I didn't have any Ubers on my draft, and so now, even though that wasn't the theme, apparently that's breaking the theme, so I couldn't have Salamence. I didn't want it anyway. So these are the 3 mons that we're dropping. We're dropping Skarmory, we're dropping Flygon, and we're dropping Dusknoir. But I wanted to talk a little bit about why, so I thought, well, let me show the sets that I ran on these mons, and then it'll give you a little bit of indication why. So first up, we've got Skarmory. I brought Skarmory twice. I brought it, I think, in the most recent game you'll have seen versus Incog, which is this set, I think. No, it's this set. This one. And then I brought this one versus Q the Costa Rican. Costa Rican Q? No, Q the Costa Rican. I always get confused with his name, which way around it is. But I didn't even realize that they had the exact same moves on them. I didn't even clock that. Just one's Rocky Helmet, one was Safety Goggles for a Vileplume, clicking like Sleep Powder and stuff. And then the EVs were slightly different, just in terms of one being having a little bit of Spadefenix that didn't need all the Fizz Def, although in the game I wish I'd had all the Fizz Def, and the other one being more physically defensive, really being it. Yeah, it was just boring. It was just really boring. Got Spikes up once, then they got defogged away. Didn't help. Toxic to Moltres, then we disconnected, reconnected, missed the Toxic on the Moltres. Didn't help. It was just useless. It was just useless. Like, it got crit by a Rillaboom, and it felt like crit bait the whole time. The only thing this thing did against Incog was wall his Excadrill, and that was it. That was all it did. And admittedly, I would have got slapped by Excadrill if I didn't have this. But other than that, I thought it was so passive, so bad for my style of building. I needed Whirlwind because our draft is pretty frail, and without it, setup threats just run through us. So, yeah, I've either got to bring a team that's strong enough to stop things setting up on me, has status to inconvenience them, or has phasing. So this one needed Whirlwind every week. It needed Spikes for me to have a reason to even bring it in the first place, and it needed Toxic or Body Press, and I never found a place where Body Press was better. Even against the blooming Excadrill, I was just going to get Hazards up and Whirlwind it out. So really passive, really sucks. Also cost so much, was so expensive, and I knew that at the time. So we'll get on to what I dropped for it in a second. Oh, sorry, what I picked up for it in a second. But let's move on. This is Moomin Rider. Actually, kind of sad to drop this thing, because although I only brought it twice, like, I thought it was quite good. So this was a set versus Root, which basically just took a hit from his Zygarde and pivoted out. But was built to be pretty bulky and to take hits from potential V-Create Victini and to Revenge Kill V-Create Victini, along with a bunch of other threats. Was just a general kind of fat ground type really here, with recovery and momentum, which is nice. Like, that's really nice. It's just like a better version of Claydol, I guess, because Claydol's terrible. With actual recovery as well, I guess. Yeah, this set was pretty good. In the game, it didn't do a lot. It just served as a useful pivot to get a Bomber Snow back in, the real MVP of the draft, and that was it. So I think this thing in mocks really impressed me. But in the actual games, it was never that key. This set is a bit of an Eric special. This was versus Vepsis when we lost, when I played horribly, and he played very well. And it was just, I mean, look at this spread. This is some real EVing. I don't like to EV things. I'm very lazy with EVing, but this is when I had to EV properly because we were playing Vepsis. The idea was like Draco did more than 50, I think, to Slowbro, and then U-turn chunked it as well, and it just basically wore down like Slowbro, wore down Registeel. Was also able to come in on Vikavolt and Roost off Vikavolt damage depending on the set and what move he clicked. because obviously Swampert doesn't really like Vikavolt. So yeah, it was our secondary ground type to support the Swampert, and in the games where we were threatened by an electric type, I think it was Rotom Wash. That was the other thing, this thing I had to deal with against Root. I knew there was something else. So yeah, versus a Rotom Wash, which could punish Swampert with things like Toxic, Will-O-Wisp, Hydro Pump. This having reliable recovery made it handle that pretty well. And then, yeah, versus a Vikavolt and just as a wall breaker, it was pretty good. But had to pay the price to make the team work, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would genuinely have liked to keep this thing, and I lost a pretty valuable speed tier at 100 speed by dropping it. Last up, we had Dusknoir, useless. And this was the other reason that I had to drop it. I picked this thing up looking at it thinking, well, I love Dusclops. Dusclops. Dusclops is fantastic. But this doesn't have to run a Violite. I can run Leftovers. It's going to be better, right? Surely. I love Leftovers. I can run Leftovers Protect. I've got Weather. I love Leftovers Protect with Weather. This will be fantastic. I see no issues here at all. Apart from this thing just isn't as bulky. Like, Leftovers does not make up for the Violite miss. Like, when we were playing against a Heracross, I wanted to bring this thing, and I was just like, which is the game you're going to see next coming up. But we've made a trade before going into that game, because I looked at Heracross and I was like, whoa, this doesn't beat it. Like, Swords Dance knockoff, like, I'm gonna die. Like, this is terrible. When I played a Holucha, which you'll have just seen, didn't beat Holucha. I was running Protect, Leftovers, Icy Wind, Toxic, Pain Split was going to be my set, with enough special attack to always break Holucha's substitute. And then I realized this is also terrible. Like, this is useless. Like, and it probably is going to die to a +2 acrobatics anyway. After rocks and weather chip and stuff. So just really sucked. Like, bad Pokemon, unfortunately, or bad for me. Like, I should say Skarmory and Dusknoir might be good for other people, but for me, absolutely useless. Oh, so what did we do with that information? Well, we picked up a real fighting resist, something that could deal with Heracross, something that could deal with Holucha if we'd had it at the time. We picked up Weezing. Actual fighting resist. A combination of Levitate plus neutralizing gas is actually really hard. For example, going into the next game against the Heracross at the weekend, which you'll see, or on Monday, which you'll see, sorry. The Heracross now has to decide, well, do I run Guts, Flame Orb, and potentially get neutralizing gassed, or do I run Swords Dance Earthquake and potentially face Levitate? So, genuinely quite really useful abilities, really good physical defense. Obviously special fighting types like, you know, Lucario or Blaziken would destroy it, but we have Blaziken and I think Lucario's undrafted, so don't worry about that. So yeah, genuinely good Pokemon. T-Spikes, potential grounded poison type if I need a T-Spike absorber if we run neutralizing gas. Just, it's quite passive, but Will-O-Wisp, Destiny Bomb, Pain Split, Memento, like, it has things it can do to stop it being passive. You know, I'm worried if Volcarona's going to set up on me, okay, I'll just, Memento, and then it hasn't set up on me. So yeah, there are options. There are definitely options here. Haze as well, I'm pretty sure it gets, yeah. So just a good Pokemon. Much better than Dusknoir. Then, unfortunately, I needed to preserve the double ground, and Weezing was a little bit more expensive than Dusknoir, so I had to try and patch that up. So we picked up another ground type that doesn't lose to Grass Knot the way that Swampert does. So we picked up Steelix. I don't think it's particularly good, but I think it's okay. I think it's it's me reading the other name that was in there. I think it's fine. Heavy Duty Boot Sturdy is pretty funky if you're worried about setup sweepers. Body Press is a really nice addition to this thing, although I still think Body Press is a bad move. People do not like that take, but that's my take. Really reliable Stealth Rocker. It's fine. It's fine. For what I needed, which was if I'm facing a Tapu Koko and I'm super worried about Grass Knot, then okay, now I have a Steelix, right? So it's just here to add extra team support for Swampert, really, and to rebalance the scales. It's going to go kind of in that Dusknoir slot of coming to maybe 2 games of a season, but then Weezing's gone in that Flygon spot of being really useful, and of course replacing Flygon's Levitate, which is nice. And last up, we needed to get another flying type, but we just lost our double dragon, and we have Magnezone, and we're doing Gen 4, and Dragmag, it's great, isn't it? So we picked up another dragon type. We picked up a bit of a Dragmag staple in Dragonite. Super excited to use this thing. This is where I was saying we were looking at Salamence, because Salamence gave me a better speed tier, but then, and I think it was even cheaper, to be honest, but then Eric was like, but that's an Uber in Gen 4, that doesn't fit your theme, and I was like, well, I said you were above, and Uber's is above, and then Eric said, no, that's cheating. So now we have Saxon the Dragonite, because I didn't want to cheat the theme, and I didn't want you guys to feel cheated, but also I'm kind of excited to use this thing. It very much fits the bill for me, and the one thing that I was most excited about on it, and you're going to say, really, this is what you were most excited about? I've been hating status all season. Our team hates Thunderwave, it hates Toxic, it hates Will-O-Wisp especially, and now I'm like, I can just Heal Bell. So really like picking up a Cleric, and you're going to say that is not how you use Dragonite, and I'm going to say I don't care. Boots, of course, the big addition to this thing that everyone's going mad for this gen, but I don't like Boots, but it is what it is. You'll have to see whether we bring this thing this week versus Auto or the week after versus Irish. But yeah, definitely interested in this thing. I thought I said it got U-turn for a minute. I was like, what? That's new. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good mon. Really strong. Really strong. And as our Dragon type right now is this thing, which is useless. I don't like Latias. I drafted it because I thought it was bad, and I thought I must be wrong. The last time I had it, I must have just got it wrong, and it's not bad. So let's draft it again and see if it's good. No, it's still bad. I was right the first time. So now we have a proper Dragon type, and we can just put this on it. We can go Choice Band, and then we can put this, and then we can put this, and then that's the whole set. That's the whole set. That's all you... And then you do this. Whoa. Oh, yes. I'm very excited about this. This is going to be fantastic. So let me know what you think of the trades down below. I like the new squad members. Hopefully they can put in work. They can't be worse than Skarmory. That's my conclusion. Thank you so much for looking around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.